Tonight on Cronkite News, experts work to categorize dangerous dust storms for a new warning system.
Plus, President Donald Trump changes his stance on the Epstein files, urging Republican House members to take action.
And ASU keeps fighting for the Big 12 championship. We'll tell you what helped the Sun Devils take down the Mountaineers coming up. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Macy Markham.
And I'm Max Williams. Thanks for joining us. A new survey from the Arizona Department of Education shows a massive shortage of teachers in the state, along with other concerning statistics. The survey showed that over 1,000 teachers resigned from their jobs this summer, or about 2% statewide, from 1% from last year. Teacher retention has remained about the same when compared to pre-pandemic levels, but is still lower than the national average. State Superintendent Tom Horn claimed low teacher salaries are to blame for the state's teacher shortage.
Meteorologists are experimenting with a new way to rank dust storms, and that research is happening right here in Phoenix.
Yeah, Cronkite News reporter Edward Neiman shows us the tools and technology researchers are developing right now.
Known for 300 days of sunshine and for its heat, Phoenix is also home to some of the nation's most violent dust storms.
You need to pull off the road, you need to put your car in park, turn off the lights.
There is no official scale to rank dust storms now, but a panel of experts are working on developing one. Amber Solons is the chief meteorologist at ABC 15 in Phoenix and has covered the area's intense weather patterns since 2009.
So this summer we premiered the dust scale during our monsoon special, and then we used it during the summer to categorize the dust storms that moved through during the monsoon.
The scale is still an experiment and began development in 2021.
The idea behind it was to create some type of way that we could quantify the intensity of dust storms that make it through the Phoenix metropolitan area.
The scale considers several factors like how long the storm lasted, how much of the valley it hit, and how fast the winds blew. But the most important factor is how thick the dust got.
The primary classification scheme is based off of concentration of dust.
Air quality sensors throughout the valley measure the dust.
This monitor here at the Phoenix Zoo communicates with an air quality sensor. The air quality sensors are necessary and help gathering data to rank dust storms.
The new scale will monitor dust storms like tornadoes and hurricanes, assigning each storm a category 1 through 5, with 5 being the most intense.
Safety is the #1 priority. So although we may geek out on the science, oh, it's a Cat 3, it's a Cat 4, wow. I mean, my ultimate goal is to use those categories to inform people so that they can stay safe when these kinds of events are happening.
In Phoenix, Edward Eamon, Cronkite News.
Our weather team's going to keep following that story as it progresses. And while there's no exact timeline for completion of the Phoenix dust storm scale, experts say that the project is in its final stages.
ASU dining hall workers are taking a major step this week, demanding better pay and working conditions. For the first time, union members who prepare and serve food across campus are voting on whether to authorize a strike. It comes right before Thanksgiving rush and the Territorial Cup. Union workers employed by Aramark at ASU say they are dealing with short staffing, high turnover, and rising costs of living. Hundreds of cooks, cashiers, baristas, and dishwashers across ASU campuses are deciding today whether or not they should walk out. This could impact Chick-fil-A, Panda Express, Starbucks, and student dining halls. If they approve the strike, they could walk off the job at any time. Their contract with the company expired at the end of August, and they say negotiations for a new deal have not gone far enough.
Staff. So like we've been kind of short here and there. I hope everybody gets what they want, raises and whatever.
If the strike is authorized, union leaders say workers could choose a walkout date soon. The vote runs through 6 p.m. tonight at the Arizona State University downtown Phoenix campus.
Plus, those who are on state Medicaid and being treated for obesity may see their coverage extend to weight loss medication. Arizona lawmakers are considering the extension, launching a study committee to survey obesity coverage in the state. This comes after the announcement from the Trump administration promising reductions in the cost of weight loss medications for Medicaid recipients. Right now, obesity is the leading cause for many life-threatening conditions.
It is estimated that 1 in 10 Arizonans have diabetes. People with diabetes face a 50% higher risk of premature death compared to those without the condition. Cronkite News reporter Izzy Ludlow tells us who are the most effective communities and what can be done to combat the disease.
Manny Salgado says he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 2003.
When I heard that, my world just ended. That was the mentality that you have, that once you have that, you're going to die, and soon.
Salgado is among the over 600,000 adults in Arizona who live with diabetes.
Just by eating an apple, you think that you're eating healthy, but it has a lot of sugars.
Diabetes is the 8th leading cause of premature death in Arizona. African Americans, Indigenous, and Hispanic communities are at great risk. A poor diet and a sedentary lifestyle have led to high rates of type 2 diabetes and other diseases in the U.S. But experts say there's hope.
What leads to diabetes is overnutrition. So overeating, which leads to overweight and to obesity. This is what leads to type 2 diabetes.
In Arizona, organizations are empowering affected communities.
We have a 60-second diabetes risk test that you can take, and it's 60 seconds. So 60 seconds of your day, you can fill it out and be like, okay, if it comes up that you are high risk, then you go to your doctor.
Improperly managed diabetes can result in severe complications, including stroke, kidney disease, heart disease, blindness, lower leg amputation, nerve damage, and even death. Salgado supports these initiatives because for him, education is key.
I think we need to give more education on understanding the disease first, what tools are available to fight the disease, and then you go into your nutritional education, where you say, okay, you have all these tools to help you measure if you're making progress or if you're not making progress. I mean, the tools will give you the truth about your internal health.
In Phoenix, Izzy Ludlow, Cronkite News.
Nearly 2 million people are pre-diabetic, and about 90% of those are unaware of the condition. Coming up next, a look at the national headlines.
We'll tell you about an announcement from the Trump administration on Venezuela and a survey highlighting American political opinions. Plus, the Supreme Court takes a look at one of President Trump's immigration policies, coming up on Cronkite News.
How will all this low pressure affect our rain chances going in tomorrow and into the week? Find out during our 8-day forecast coming up.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
Welcome back. Now taking a look at news from across the nation. President Trump has called on House Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files. Trump took to Truth Social to urge Republicans to support the release of the files. He called the issue a Democratic hoax and said the release of files would show that Republicans have nothing to hide. This comes after months of efforts to block a vote on the Epstein files, with House Speaker Mike Johnson resisting efforts to bring a vote to the House floor. The vote is expected to take place tomorrow.
Also, the Department of State has announced it will designate one Venezuelan cartel as a foreign terrorist organization next week. This comes as tensions rise between the two countries over military operations. Secretary of State Marco Rubio alleges that Cartel de los Soles, along with other criminal organizations, are trafficking drugs to the United States and Europe. Rubio also claims these organizations are tied to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Even as tensions between the two countries rise, President Trump says Maduro would like to discuss.
It allows us to do that, but we haven't said we're going to do that. And we may be having some discussions with Maduro, and we'll see how that turns out. They would like to talk.
President Trump said today he's being briefed on options for military operations inside Venezuela.
The Supreme Court announced today that it will review a controversial immigration policy adopted during the first Trump administration. In 2018, the Trump administration began a process called metering, where border agents turned down some potential asylum seekers before they entered the U.S. An immigrant rights group and several asylum seekers filed a lawsuit in California challenging the policy. And after an appeals court sided with the rights group, the Trump administration has now appealed to the Supreme Court. The court will hear arguments about the case next year.
And the FAA announced that airlines will be resuming their normal schedules in the U.S. today. They're lifting all flight restrictions that were put in place during the government shutdown, which affected over 40 major airports and at least 4% of air traffic. The news could come as relief to some of those flying over the Thanksgiving weekend. According to TSA, it's the busiest travel weekend of the year. Experts say passengers should still check airline apps, though, for delays or cancellations and for more typical reasons like weather.
Yeah, and speaking of Thanksgiving, it is officially 10 days away, and this year it's not just airports that are expected to be busier than ever. AAA is predicting that nearly 82 million people will travel at least 50 miles from home during the turkey season. That's an increase of 1.6 million travelers compared to last year and a new record. 73 million of those are expected to travel by car, and a spokesperson from AAA said during the week, roads will be busy all afternoon.
Anytime after lunchtime is when you're going to really see that traffic building, especially on the interstates at major metros.
Also, according to AAA, avoiding the roads doesn't necessarily mean you're avoiding the crowds. 6 million U.S. travelers are expected to take domestic flights over the holiday period, a slight increase from last year.
Watch out for that traffic. And amid a time of political division, a national survey reveals that Americans actually agree on several pressing issues. The American Communities Project survey measures opinions on current issues, and in 2025, researchers found that Americans as a whole were concerned about inflation, tariffs, and AI. 41% of people nationally say inflation is the most important issue. Only 31% of American communities say they feel positive about AI, and 71% of people nationally feel tariffs have negatively affected their communities. The American Communities Project survey is run by Michigan State University's School of Journalism, and this year the organization gathered the opinions of over 5,000 people across 15 different community types.
Well, it looks like the heat has just about left the valley and been replaced with some rain.
Yeah, here to tell us all about the rain chances is Kayla McDonald from the Cronkite Weather Center. Kayla?
Yeah, rain is looking pretty good for tomorrow and even into this evening. For this evening, our temperatures are going to be in the 60s, and around 10 o'clock, we're going to start seeing those rain chances increase from 22% up to 50 overnight. Now for those early morning lows, look at below freezing at Window Rock, 26 degrees, 33 in Flagstaff, 33 at the Grand Canyon, and for the valley down here, 58 for Phoenix, 57 for Gila Bend, and 55 for Casa Grande. Now for those highs, up north, it's pretty chilly for that high of 42 degrees at Flagstaff, 45 at the Grand Canyon, and down here, look, we're in the 70s and 60s for the valley, 69 for Phoenix, 71 for Gila Bend, 71 for Casa Grande. Now, what's been giving us this cloud cover and some nice rain chances? It's this low pressure cutoff that's been giving us this consistently through the weekend and tonight into tomorrow. But for next week, we have another one on its way to give us those increased rain chances for next weekend. Going into that 8-day forecast for tomorrow, we got a chance of 60% of rain and a high of 69 with that low of 60 tomorrow night, 70% chance of rain on Wednesday, and our highs are going to drop off into the 60s consistently until next week. Same thing with those lows, they're going to stay in the 50s, and we're going to have some nice cloud cover up here, and then Sunday those rain chances come back with a 40%. From the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Kayla McDonald.
Thanks, Kayla. And coming up next, the home of Sun Devil basketball is getting a facelift.
Yep, Tempe's set to kick off a multi-million-dollar renovation.
I think there's a lot of excitement in athletics here right now, so fundraising is definitely a part of it.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Jacob Schenker. The Cardinals lost for the second time this season to the 49ers, this time by more than just a point. San Francisco won 41-22 and started off hot, scoring 15 seconds into the game after a 98-yard kickoff return. Despite the lopsided loss, head coach Jonathan Gannon said the team is ready to show more focus and urgency next week against Jacksonville.
Like today, I truthfully, give credit to San Francisco. I think we beat ourselves. Like anytime we had chances to get back in the game, whether it be the start of the game or in the first half or second half, we're beating ourselves right now. So that falls on me. And we got to do a better job collectively. But we will get up and we will have a good attitude and we will have focus and urgency towards Jacksonville.
The Cardinals took home a couple of records with them along with the loss. Jacoby Brissett now holds the NFL record for completions in a game alongside former Steelers QB Big Ben Roethlisberger. The Cardinals' 17 penalties is also a new franchise record, which makes the Cardinals the 5th most penalized team per game this season. Arizona State football kept its Big 12 hopes alive this weekend, getting the job done against West Virginia without 2 of its key offensive players. And yet again, it was the others that stepped up. The Sun Devils survived a wild finish against West Virginia. After blowing a 12-point fourth quarter lead, ASU had to lean on their special teams late. Kicker Jesus Gomez redeemed himself after a 46-yard attempt was blocked earlier in the game, then knocking through a 49-yard field goal to put ASU back in front with just under 3 minutes left to play. But it was ASU defensive back Keith Abney that made the game-saving play, and head coach Kenny Dillingham attributes that to football IQ.
When you see smart players make smart plays, it starts in the classroom, it starts in how he carries himself, and just in life. And then when it carries over to game day like that, it just shows you that, being smart, helps you win football games and it's going to help them in life.
This victory not only keeps ASU alive in the Big 12 race, but also brought some hardware with it, as Jeff Sims, Jordan Crook, and Jesus Gomez all took home Big 12 Player of the Week honors for their respective side of the ball. The Devils will now prepare for a trip up to Boulder, Colorado to face the Buffaloes. Many expect lots of changes coming to a venue in Tempe in the next few years, as the ASU Athletic Department announced a major $100 million renovation to the Desert Financial Arena. I recently spoke to officials on the new renovation and what to expect. For over 50 years, Desert Financial Arena has been home to various ASU sports, including volleyball, basketball, and wrestling. The arena has seen minor changes, but in May 2026, Phase 1 of the arena's first major renovation begins, as the university aims to energize fans with this new and improved arena.
They're the ones that are coming to the games. They're the ones that are buying tickets. They're the ones that are buying merchandise and following your team and have that passion in your university sports. So I think it's vital for a university to reach out to its fan base and really let them know they're important.
The university and its donors are eager to upgrade the arena with modern features as a result of the momentum created with ASU Sports' success.
I think there's a lot of excitement in athletics here right now, so fundraising is definitely a part of it. Also, it's just time for this arena. The arena is, 60-some years old. It's needed some upgrades for a while.
Arizona State University architect Joe Leszewski emphasized how important fan input and community feedback was in the design process of this project, as he highlighted that the renovation would include premium floor seating, new courts, new restrooms, accessible stairs with handrails, and access to new elevators.
The telescoping seats, they don't work very well. They don't have handrails. They're not very accessible. The court gets sanded and redone every year. There's maybe one left, so it's time.
ASU alumni and booster Knapp Lawrence pointed out how vital accessibility is in every sporting facility.
They have to be unveiled. People get it from every position in there. It's a phenomenal feel.
While the renovation will not be finished in the near future, fans don't need to worry, as sporting events will continue to be held at Desert Financial. The renovation is expected to be completed in 2029 as new upgrades to the arena will continue to be added periodically. And from DFA to Mortgage Matchup Center, the Suns' 5-game winning streak has come to an end, and pretty unexpectedly too. After leading the Hawks by 20-plus points in the fourth quarter last night, the Hawks clawed their way back into this one. It was on the back of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who dropped 16 points in the fourth quarter alone. He was getting everything from and-ones in the paint to and-ones at the three-point line after Dylan Brooks fouled him late. Atlanta kept the momentum up for the rest of the game and won 124-122, extending the Hawks' win streak to 5 and ending the Suns. And now we bring you another edition of Weekend Wows, where we take a look at some of the moments that wowed us the most. We got a lot of moments here for you. We start out tonight in the golf course in Tampa Bay, where LPGA golfer Brooke Matthews hit quite the shot. This shot right here from 143 yards out, Matthews sunk this hole in one. It was the first hole in one in her career. And if the shot wasn't enough, she also won a 2-year lease to a brand new Lamborghini. And for a hole in one shot in a Lamborghini, that is quite the swing. And now to Mountain America Stadium, where earlier this season, Jordan Tyson showed off his dance moves after a win against Texas State. And last Saturday morning, Sun Devil wide receiver coach Hines Ward was asked to go from Dancing with the Stars to Dancing with the Sun Devils. Ward showed off his version of the cha-cha, proving just where Tyson learned it from. And wow, he's got some moves going over there. But it wasn't all sunshine and dancing for the Devils. After taking a 22-17 lead in the fourth quarter, the Sun Devil defense had West Virginia backed up to third down and forever on their own 10, when the Mountaineers ripped off on this 90-yard touchdown to take the lead 23-22. However, the Devils would fight back and kick a game-winning field goal to secure the victory 25-23. Wow, what an ending. And that's it for this weekend's Wows and tonight's Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Jacob Shanker. Thank you for joining us. Now back to Macy and Max at the desk.
Thanks, Jacob. And coming up next, it's the most anticipated night for fashion fans.
Yeah, the 2026 Met Gala is just less than 5 months away, and we have our first glimpse of the event, Macy. We'll tell you what next year's gala theme is coming up after the break.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
scientists and engineers that support the next mission to Mars could be in this class.
Getting a degree at ASU is a journey that can take you anywhere. Into a world of groundbreaking technology and renowned award-winning faculty. Professors who help you to impact the world. Whether you're on campus or at home, becoming your best starts with learning from the best.
Welcome back from the break. The theme for fashion's biggest night has finally been revealed.
That's right. The theme for 2026 at the Met Gala is costume art. The Met Gala will focus on the history of the Costume Institute, and it'll showcase the Met's newest fashion exhibition. The gala is a huge fundraiser for the Met's Costume Institute, and it's its only means of raising money, actually. And last year it raked in $31 million, and tickets reportedly cost $75,000 each this year. I don't think I'm going to make it, Macy.
I don't think so either. That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Macy Markham.
And I'm Max Williams. Thanks for joining us. And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.